Well, Jubilee put out a new video, and this one I'm a little excited of because it actually pertains to me more than usual. It's the thumbnail was just like it just had like a mixed person in the middle, and it just said mixed. So I was like, hey, I'm mixed. Hell yeah, representation. Let's let's talk about it, right? I like being represented. Being represented is dope, sick, and or nasty.
Middle ground is a social experiment that brings humans with opposing beliefs or experiences together. These discussions may contain viewpoints that are the result of misinformation. Remember to seek out experts and to be critical of your own
It's
biases while forming an opinion. Please see the humanity in each participant, and as always, we encourage empathy.
Someone told me if you stare at a light when you need to sneeze, it'll make you do it.
Two things can be true.
I believe
you
it,
can have had
'cause
a
I do
very
it.
hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
Respectfully absurd. I'm not just saying respectfully on every insult I put on. Respectfully, you're a
Step
dumbass.
forward if you agree with the prompt. White people also experience racism.
Oh, none of my biracial folk gonna step forward. All right.
I think
I see.
racism is definitely not a one
Someone
race
did.
against the other. It goes all ways. It's not. It doesn't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're Asian. It doesn't.
Yes, white people do experience racism. Just gonna get that out there. They do. That is a thing that happens. No one denies that. Well, some people deny that, but they're dumb.
Matter. You could experience racism no matter what color your skin is.
I think that people have a propensity to kind of have an aversion towards what's different from them. I've been called a cracker before. I've been told I was going to get beaten up because I was white. I would argue that on a systemic level, white people don't experience racism the same way a lot of other races experience racism. But I would say on an individual level, any group is capable of being racist towards another group as well.
So the argument against this position frequently is that racism is a system, not a sentiment in the United States. And I agree with that really strongly, but at the same time I'm Jewish and racially white and have definitely experienced racism, discrimination. The paradox is that most of that racism is coming from white people or European society, white nationalism, etc. that's directed at Jews. So I'm Dane and I'm Jewish. I'm proud of
Hello,
being
Dane.
Jewish and being connected to an ancient religion and culture, but I'm not proud to be white, I would say. White privilege, I think, is an aspect of American society. I think it exists. When I go to a job interview, I don't have to worry about...
Saying I'm proud to be whatever race has always been something weird to me. Because I always think like, okay, black people say black pride. White people should be able to say white pride. But then you realize, ooh, that's led to some bad things. Well, so has the other. To where I think it's more of a, my take on the issue is more of white people can have like Irish pride, German pride, Italian, like ethnic pride. Meanwhile, black people within America don't really get that because they don't really know their ethnicity other than African American, To where I think it just kind of colloquially just becomes black pride. Meanwhile, you go into like Hispanics within America kind of do the same thing. They have their ethnic pride, Chicano, Puerto Rican, all of that. And if you go into the countries, it becomes more of like even more like my grandparents. They love to fuck with each other on like, oh, listen here, you chamula, which is like a tribe, and or listen here, Huichol, which is another tribe, which is just, they have pride when it comes to that. I think it's just more of an American thing of like why black people just have black pride, because they're not just, they don't have their ethnicity anymore because centuries of that has just been lost, their lineage. Would just be easy if you were proud of being an American. I mean, I agree, but there's different types of American even then. Like, just to say I'm proud to be an American is just such a blanket statement to where it's like, I don't personally identify with a lot of other Americans, I don't really identify with whatever happens in like Montana or Maine or New Mexico. I can have Southern pride or Southern pride. I can't really have that Confederate tyranny. Uh, not tyranny. What the fuck was it? Losers. Fuck, Confederate loser pride. But I have Southern pride because I come from the deep South. I have a culture tied with this. I grew up around like, catfish and like June bugs and all, all that Southern shit. Cornbread, creeks, whatever. To where just like saying proud to be an American is such a thing to where it doesn't really exist. Like someone from like Rochester, New York has stuff more in common with Canada than they do with me. I don't get stuff like that. Like it's the culture stuff I understand. Just saying like I'm proud to be where I am because of the lines on a map, I don't get that. Like to me that's dumb. Being proud of like your culture and the art that you grew up with and the people you were around, I think that's fine. I love that. I think it's cool. That's where my pride comes from. Like a shared cultural experience. That's where I'm getting at. You know what? That's actually I rambled myself into a way to where I found a good position. I take pride in shared cultural experience. And with that, you can get that with a lot of things. So, yeah.
My hairstyle or the way I normally speak or my name. And that's something perhaps a black person would have to worry about.
Can they disagree a step forward?
No, there should not be ads.
Hi, dropshippers. It's
Shut
time to
the fuck
focus
up.
on what.
Fucking drop shippers. Who the hell is a drop shipper? But yeah, also like, being, having pride for like being LGBTQ is because you have a shared experience with other people and stuff like that. A shared struggle, one could say. And one does say, I am the one.
So I just want to say that I want to validate everyone's individual experiences. I do also believe that white people experience bias, prejudice, but the reason I did not step forward is because, by definition, racism is tied to power and economics.
I hate that argument. I hate saying that racism is different from prejudice because racism is systematic. Sure, definition, whatever, but that's not how people use the word. That is not how 99% of the world uses that word. So just to constantly being like, definition is so fucking stupid, Trump won, Trump lost. It's so fucking stupid because it doesn't mean anything if society doesn't recognize that definition, It's meaningless. It's pointless. The whole prejudice versus racism is so... I hate it. I fucking hate that debate,
We talked about systemic discrimination. I don't feel white people experience racism by definition and by actual concept.
What is the definition of racism and who wrote that definition?
Holy shit. Fucking corpse comes out here. What is the definition of racism and who wrote that definition? What the fuck? Who are you?
In the late 1500s, early 1600s, there was slavery. They started bringing over slaves, but there was really no concept of classifying people in terms of race. It's just we're bringing these people over and they're slaves. What ended up happening is some of the slave owners who were white started mixing with some of the slaves. And now here you have these black people that look like the people that are owning things. So they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. The theory of race was formed to classify a group of people who would be lesser than and have less economic power, and this would be imposed against them for hundreds of years. So that has not been the white experience in this country, but it does not invalidate the things that white people experience. It's just not racism by definition. Is it prejudice? Is it bias? Is it wrong? Yes.
Mine is simple. If one person treats another person differently because of the color of their skin, to me, that's racism.
And that's how most people see it. I hate like the intellectual fucking argument. I am anti-intellectual when it comes to this shit, you know? I just hate it whenever it's just like, well, the actual definition is this. Like, that's not how the average person uses it. You are alienating like the majority of people whenever you go on these tirades. And it makes you seem so insensitive and so stupid, you know?
I will tell you that I was stopped by the police plenty of times when I was a young man. And I will also tell you that I then decided to spend 35 years as a policeman. I'll tell you that I stopped lots of kids coming home from school, depending on who it was that I
Choke me like you hate me. I was a cop. Me.
stopped. The first thing out of their mouth would be, you only stopped me because I'm black. And I would say, you're driving a sports car with a back window that's this big, I can't see who's driving, and I stopped you because you're doing 95 and a 55. I had no idea who I was pulling over until I stopped you. Now, if I treat you differently because you're black, then I'm a racist. But if I write you the same ticket that I was going to write you before I knew who was behind the wheel, I'm not.
So I'm glad you used that example, and I want to commend you for your service for our country. But I do want to, but I do.
But fuck you, you're a cop. That'd be so fucking. That'd be the most baller fucking move out of this whole episode. I know it.
I want to say, because I've actually taught classes for the LAPD and for their cadets about these issues. But what I can say, which is a statistic, and which is also a fact, is that 60% of our prison population is African American.
Different issue.
Yes, but let me finish, please. Is African American males, right? When you go into a system and you are kept in that system and you're cycled through probation and there is a systematic sequence of oppression, that's not happening to white males. So it's bigger than just the...
Yeah, but then we can just make the argument that that's just systematic racism and not just racism in general. You know? I hate it. That's because of the stupid war on drugs? Yes, that is very true. That is very true. And also there is biases that also contribute to why percentages are the way they are. Reason why we have such a high population across the whole world, though, the war on drugs, that drugs seems to be winning.
Stop itself.
Go drugs.
It's the system. My name is Sierra. I'm an actor, a speaker, and a human rights activist. I'm very proud to be African American, to be black. The challenges.
Drug war bad. Fuck, that'd be such a sick shirt. I am wearing my war bad shirt. Drug war bad. I'll get it. I'll do that at some point. No, didn't mean to do that.
Come with being black, also being a black woman are very real. I'm at a place in my life where I'm acknowledging these things are real. Discrimination is real. The systematic oppression of black people is very real. But I will succeed in spite of that.
The police force is foundationally racist.
Yep. Because the foundation of the police force was built by a lot of racist people back in the day. If you know the history of the country and the history of the police, you'll know that police forces came out of both anti-Irish mobs up in the north, anti-immigrant mobs in general, more towards the Midwest, and slave catchers back in the south. So, yeah. Foundationally, yes, they are. Who's got the fucking wooden sandals?
I want to start off by saying I don't think...
Of course the cop's not there. Of fucking course.
I think that every cop out there today is racist.
Same.
I think there are a lot of them who are really doing good work. What I know from the establishment of the policing in the United States, that is directly from the slave catchers who were hired to catch runaway slaves and bring them back home.
Yeah, I agree that all cops aren't racist. I had plenty of interactions with police that were fine, but I was told by a former police officer who was, a cop who decided he didn't want to do that anymore, that, the training is pretty much specialized for only colored people, especially black people, that if you're around them, they're the most dangerous, so you have to act in certain situations or react in certain situations,
I think I just really want to emphasize that I really think that there are some officers who are white that don't even believe that they're doing anything that may be racially motivated because they're simply doing what they were taught to do.
I come from a police family, and I'd like to add they do offer diversity trainings in the academy. So either it needs to be more extensive, or maybe we need to take it a step back and fix the selection process, because that process could be inherently racist. Hello, my name is Nia, and I am Black. I'm proud of my race because when I look back historically at what people of my heritage have gone through, and to see where we are now, it's remarkable, and it definitely pushes me to continue
Ad
to be
incoming.
resilient and innovative as they were.
Caught it. Hey, it's Shrek. Freebie. I don't know what the fuck this is. It feels free, apparently. It's muted. I love it. Shrek ad. Right there. Love it. Love Shrek. That movie informed my life and my taste in music far more than should be necessary. I'm just keeping it real. And to keep it real, we're back. Fuck! No, we're not back. We're not back. No! Fuck! I hate ads. I hate them. They ruined my life. I don't even know where we're at anymore.
In the academy. So either it needs to be more extensive, or maybe we need to take it a step back and fix the selection process, because that process
Oh my
could be
fucking god. What the hell?
inherently racist. Hello, my name is Nia, and I am Black. I'm proud of my race because when I look back historically at what
I can't show you the Shrek ad.
That
ad almost broke everything.
Now it's remarkable, and it definitely pushes me to continue to be resilient and innovative as they were.
All right, everyone else is here.
Historically, people formed groups, villages. Some people were hunters, some people were farmers, and then you had
What is this stream's opinion on dope smoking? Cringe. Stinky. But should not be illegal. That's my opinion. Straight edge. Straight edge good. Straight edge always. But war on drugs fucking sucks.
whoever was going to protect the group. And over hundreds of years,
I want to just now have a shirt. I'm just going now to make a shirt that's just a fucking pot leaf and it just says stinky. That'd be fucking a sticker, actually. I'd rather just make that a sticker. That'd be so fucking funny. Because if this stream is going to advocate for dope smoking or engage in dope smoking, I'm out of here. Okay, well, I'm not going to. So you're in luck. I don't encourage it. In fact, I encourage sobriety as much as possible. I know that's not everyone's thing. And it annoys people, but I don't bring it up. But I believe that sobriety is good in every respect. You know, constantly seek self-improvement. Those smoking are a drag on hard working. I wouldn't say that. That's like saying people who drink are a drag on hardworking Americans. But you wouldn't say that, even though alcohol is a lot worse for you than pot, you know?
thousands of years, whatever it is.
Pot smokers, sober people, and drinkers are all a drag on the crack smokers. We can all agree with this.
That's how we wind up having cops, firemen, armies, and navies. Community policing as a theory is a good idea. As a practice, it has some hiccups.
Community policing is in theory a good idea. That's how we've always just done that's okay.
I show up at your house because you and your husband got into it and he beats you up and I'm friends with him. So do I want to take him to jail? He's my friend. Or I live in the same neighborhood and I go deal with some guy who's a really bad dude and he says, I know where you live, I know where your kids are. So to some degree, we have to have a little separation. This is going to get into a hot button topic, but I will tell you that, you know, when I watched the horrible video of George Floyd, I will tell you that I can justify many of the things that happened.
Oh, boy.
But I cannot justify 9 minutes on his neck or back. But what I can also tell you is I, as a policeman...
Hit the mic.
And this is my
Do it
personal
again.
opinion only too. The officer who was on him for 9 minutes, he probably spent too much...
Dope smokers lie on the couch all day eating Hot Pockets and watching... What dope smoker? You know an addict. That's what you know. That's like saying everyone who drinks just gets blackout every night and lays in a ditch all day. And demands handouts from everybody. That's such a broad generalization. Dope smokers are slackers. Drinkers are slackers. Everyone's a slacker. Sober people are slackers. No one wants to do work they don't want to do. I guarantee you, if everyone had the option just to lay on the couch all day and not go to a job they hated, they would do it. And they'd find something else they enjoyed. They'd find a job they would like. You don't know any addicts? If every dope smoker you've ever seen has just been on the couch all day only smoking pot, that is an addict. Not everyone is like that. Oh my God, you got me defending smokers. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you for making me do that. I hate defending them. You suck. You suck. You made me defend smokers. Fuck. I swore I'd never do it. But I did. Dope smoking makes you late. It can. Depends on what strain you have. Some make you hyper as shit. If you have ADHD, good luck figuring out what does what.
much time in the same neighborhood dealing with the same problems over and over again that he became jaded.
Isn't that what being a police officer is?
Wah, he did a bad job. You cut him some slack. No, he did a bad job. Fucking fire him. What?
It's a social service job.
And you're assigned.
Yes, all dope smokers sit around all day doing nothing. If that's what you feel like, dude, good luck at any point in your life.
To that district, to that community.
But I think you need to move around so that you get to see other things. You don't become that jaded.
This is not an MLM. We will be selling crack. Nice. Fucking Walter White, this shit. Let's go.
The police, no matter what your race is, we have to be integrated all together with the community. And it doesn't have to be community policing, but we all have to understand each other more. I think cultural competency would be very helpful. Like, that's my issue. Whether or not the foundations of the police force was or still was racist, now we can change that, but it starts with cops. Like, at the end of the day, it's the bad police officers that are our issue. Not all police officers, but the bad police officers, we need to vet them out, and the good police officers, we need to...
You say make dope smoking a felony? I say make bad takes like this a felony. This is a bad take. You are a felon. You will be thrown in my jail. 25 to life. Final verdict.
To, encourage them to be amongst the community.
How do we vet them out?
By making the police unions accountable, because I feel like that demographic of officers...
A couple years in prison will cure them. They're dope. That is so fucking false. That is... I go to AA meetings and NA meetings all the fucking time. I hang out around addicts all the fucking time. I guarantee you, prison has not changed a single one of their lives. What helped them was rehabilitation, not punishment. Sometimes punishment can be a rehabilitation, but not always. Dope smoking hurts me. If this is such an issue for you, dude, how do you feel about drinking? Alcohol. This has nothing to even do with what we're watching, but I'm curious. How do you feel about drinking? Drinking, like beer, vodka, everything in between, and then some. How do you feel about that? How does that make you feel?
they're actually making things a lot worse for the other officers that are actually just trying
Absolutely.
to do their job. I think that we need to get some type of real accountability that I don't think the police should be policing themselves. So when those
Ooh, she said a good word right there. Police should not be policing themselves. That is so fucking true.
cops that aren't upholding their oath, they can be properly removed instead of getting all of these passes.
The bad police officers, I hate the term like the bad apple. It's like, no, you're a faulty grenade. Like, you're ruining your whole department reputation. I feel like I was held up to higher standards working at Whole Foods sometimes. I got 3 chances out, but like Derek had so many.
17 reports before George
17
Floyd.
reports.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
get him out of there.
So
What are you
many.
guys doing?
Do you think police officers, and I genuinely am curious, do you think they should get paid more?
I think police officers should get paid more. I also think police officers should do less. Why do I get sent to
What?
all of the mental health cases?
Okay, that's fair.
Why do I get sent
I agree.
to all of these things? Now, I'll tell you why I get sent to them, is because we'll stop sending the police there.
If the federal government made smoking pot legal, you would be able to smoke in the military. So, you can do everything else. You can drink yourself silly, and you could pack your lip with so much chew that you fucking overdose. That would be a lot. But you could, in theory, you could do that. So, discipline of the military? No. In fact, if you're in the military, you're far more likely to be drunk and an addict than any other profession. So, I think you're just wrong.
And then something horrible and tragic is going to happen, and they're going to say, why didn't we have a cop there?
Do you think we need to have different divisions like mental health and just other, or maybe even specific police that are just for the schools? Like, do you think that that would help with a lot of the issues?
No.
What? He just said, why do cops get called for mental health stuff, but then he's also not for specialized divisions?
Do have specialized police officers in certain things. But if we keep specializing and we get so compartmentalized that I can't go, I'm right across the street from you when you're screaming for help. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not what I do. Gotta
I
go
can
find
get
a guy
that. That makes
deals with
sense, I
screaming women,
guess.
Or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
I see his logic behind that. Also, alcohol is not better than dope smoking. It ruins your body at a much quicker rate. Dope smoking is not good for you. I want to stop saying dope smoking. It's getting annoying. Smoking pot is not as bad for you as drinking alcohol. Alcohol destroys you way quicker because it targets a lot less. So does alcohol. Anything that activates the fucking feel-good chemicals in your brain slowly kills your brain. Both do. Any chemical dependence does. So, and alcohol does it just about the same rate, but it also destroys your liver and your immune system. So, yeah.
My name is Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy?
I am a retired police officer.
We know.
I'm not going to tell you that there are no racists on the police department. I don't think blacks were historically treated fairly under the law. I think that we have made great progress, great strides. I think we have to continue to get better, but I also think we probably see racism to this day in places where it maybe isn't.
That's a take. That's a take for sure. All right.
Question. Would you build a website for a major
question.
brand with more than 200
No, I
million
wouldn't.
users?
I would never build a website. Building websites suck. Dope smoking makes you infertile and leads to premature balding. Okay, I would like to see the studies on that in particular. But alcohol destroys your liver. At the end of the day, a lot of people are going to say, I'd rather die than have a busted dick. But, well, you can't really say that if you drink either, because whiskey dick is a thing. The more you drink, the more likely you are to have just a busted dick, you know? But, you know, it's very similar. So yeah. And in fact, I'm not gonna even touch your dope smoking debate because it doesn't have anything to do with this video, and it's derailing me, and it's just you just I don't even know what the fuck you're on to why you hate it so much. If it's one thing, if it's just I guess your dad fucking smoked or something and you don't like him, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I'm not trying to be insulting. I just really don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I sometimes wish I was a different race.
Oh, that hurts. That one hurts. I am so sorry for y'all.
I'd say not so much these days, but definitely 100% when I was a kid, I wish I was white. I grew up with my white mom. I didn't.
Okay, as a kid, yes, I did wish I was white. I really did. I'm mixed myself. Hey, what's up, my biracial homies in this video? Christina, I can relate. I did wish I was white because I was so fucking sick of that bullshit of just like... I also wish I was full Hispanic like a little later on, but that did not last nearly as long. I was just so sick of the, you're not white, so fuck you. You're not Mexican, so fuck you. Like, I was so tired, and I still am tired of it. I'm tired of, like, mixed people always getting shit from both sides. Like, I really am. So. It's so fucking annoying. Because, like, I was even watching Blackish the other day, and that show, sometimes it has good takes, but other times it's just like, what the fuck? Like, he literally, like, told his wife, you're black, but you're not black. And I was like, okay, this is this fairly at the beginning of the episode? Maybe by the end they'll change their mind. They didn't. They really did not change their mind on that. They kept that. They just put that there, didn't touch it. After that, to fix it, to expand on it, to be fair, they just didn't. And that pissed me off so much because I'm so sick of that shit. So yeah, it makes me want to pick one or the other. But for most of my life, I wanted to be white because I was so sick of people just being fucking racist at me for being Hispanic.
Didn't see my black side of my family after a certain point. I grew up in a small town. I was often the only student of color, definitely the only black kid. And I had this kinky hair. I couldn't figure out how to work with it. And everybody also would call me an Oreo. It was always just being othered. And so being a kid, you know, you just want to fit in. And for me, I wanted to be white. I just wanted to look like my mom, wanted the nice straight hair, and I just wanted to feel like included. Yeah.
I also wanted to fit in, but for my family, I have one side of my family that some members don't like me too much. And they don't like my particular immediate family because of my mom and our race. So, yeah. That's fun. I love that. I love going to family reunions and then just always getting the one table by the fucking corner. That shit's funny to me now, but it's kind of fucked up like when I first realized why that shit was happening. Like, literally at a family reunion, we'd always literally be the furthest ones. Like, me, my mom, my sister, we'd be the furthest ones from everyone else. Meanwhile, my dad just was able to bounce around the fucking room to everyone else. Meanwhile, we were always here getting shit. We were the fucking last ones to eat. Like, I didn't realize it then. I still don't think my dad fully realizes it now, but holy shit, that was some crazy shit. And you know what? I didn't get to see those people often, but I did get to see like my grandparents pretty often, and a lot of times me and my sister, we got the shorter end of the stick compared to the rest of our cousins for our race. It's particularly me, because I was the first one. So yeah, not great stuff, you know, not good things.
I remember in elementary school, like I was thinking, no man is ever gonna like me because I freaking look like this. And I just remember hating my hair because as soon as puberty hit, it just blew up, and people kept on asking, do you even need a pillow to sleep at night? I'm like, I can't stand these questions. I can't do this. I'm Jordan, and I am biracial. I think being biracial is definitely like living in the in-between because culturally, yes, I grew
in-between.
up white and I completely know that. Like I was raised by my white mother, but then there's also a part where race is perceived and it's what people put on you and how they respond to you.
I will say I was raised pretty fucking American, you know. I wouldn't say white because I'd say white trash is how I was raised. Uh, my bless my dad, he's a fucking redneck through and through. He is. So, and the rest of my family, we're fucking hicks. Like at the end of the day, we're fucking hicks. My mom was the one who brought civility and this suburban high class hoity-toity shit into the house. She had to give up on some of that shit for us. She really put in me is that you always try to look your best whenever you go out, and sometimes I don't do that at all. I got fucking jort cutoffs, but whatever. So yeah, I was raised white, but I wasn't raised like a white hillbilly white, you know, hillbilly hog jaws and grits, good shit, good fucking shit.
In your everyday life.
Who's got the fucking sandals? Take them off.
It's so interesting because I grew up in predominantly non-Black communities, and for some reason still like being the minority at home in the family as well as in school and in the world, I was always so proud to be Black. I actually really yearned.
Hey, my mama grew up in a trailer, so no disrespect. Hey, I grew up in a trailer. I also grew up in a trailer.
To be around other Black people. So thankfully in college, that was an experience where even though we made up a small community, I was still able to, okay, this is like people that look like me.
I was in the military for 6 years, and I was usually the only Jew in my battalion. And I think that isolation produced a sort of pride and understanding of who I am.
Oh, that's fucking true for sure. The isolation of being like the only religious person or specific religion is so fucking true. I get a lot of pride for being Catholic because I was the only Catholic person growing up, other than like my sister. So, and we were in different grades, so literally nothing happened. So, I get a lot of pride in that because I'm like, yeah, my beliefs are cool and awesome, and fuck you for thinking otherwise. And I still believe that. I don't, like I said, I'm not one to defend the Catholic Church, but hey, Catholic, like the aesthetic for Catholicism versus like the rest of Christianity looks pretty sick. You ever see Memento Mori? It looks sick. Goth people, you can thank Catholics for that. They're basing their stuff off us. The upside down cross, fucking based. Christian symbol, Catholic Christian symbol, to be exact. Catholics rock. But no, I relate to what this dude's saying. Yeah.
And where I come from, so.
I have never wanted to be anything different than what I was, but that's because I really never thought about it. And to your all's point, maybe, I don't know, but maybe people treated you that way because there is this sense of wanting something that I haven't ever had before. I'd love to have a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It's different than any other car I've ever had. It's different than what I grew up with.
I think personally for me, I mean, I was actually adopted by white parents and very diverse family. I think 6 out of the 8 of us are all.
Wait, the upside down cross is Catholic? It is. It is the cross of St. Peter. You know St. Peter, Jesus' best man, you know, his big buddy, the one who betrayed him 3 times? He was crucified upside down because he told the Romans he did not deserve to be crucified the same way that Jesus was. So he was crucified upside down, and St. Peter was the first pope. So, yeah, him being the first pope. Now, upside down crosses are like the patron cross, meaning like the cross of popes. I was told that it's an anti-Jesus thing. See? Here's where it gets interesting. Because during the Reformation, and particularly several spiritual awakenings within America, all led to this thing of just being anti-Catholic and the Pope being like the new Antichrist. And seeing the upside down cross, they were like, the Pope's the Antichrist. And as proof, the cross on his big hat is upside down. Ooh, yeah, literally. That's basically more or less what happened. If you go through like the Church of England and you see that shit, oh yeah, it's like very prevalent. It's super insane.
We're all adopted, all different races. I kind of have my own story apart from everyone else, and the same for everyone else that was adopted in my family. They have their own story. I always had pride in it, but at the same time, my parents are my parents no matter the color of their skin. It's the people who raised me, and they raised me just to not look at it through the lens of race, and that's what I've always done, and I never wanted to change my race at all. I'm Joshua, and I'm black. I've never experienced racism. I've experienced stuff from people from my own race. I grew up in a white family by white parents. I was constantly called whitewashed.
I fucking hate that word. I fucking hate whitewash because I get called that shit a lot. I hate it. I hate when people use that shit. Like, shut the fuck up. I will knock you the fuck out.
Upset me, but I didn't let it get to me. Being black in America, to me, is just being an American in America, just like any other person.
White privilege exists.
Yeah, I was about to say everyone but the cop is about to walk in. Oh, is he walking?
I mean, America
Did
was
everyone
founded
sit?
by
Oh.
white people for white people at the time. All of the
Interesting.
institutions were designed to benefit white people. So, I mean, of course, white privilege lingers into society today. We can't deny that.
Where I would argue with you just a little bit is I think we throw out the term white privilege far too often for things that aren't necessarily white privilege.
I thought he was going to say throw out the term white privilege because I was about to agree, but it was about to be for some radically different shit.
I've got to agree with you completely on that one. I think there's generational white privilege for sure, but I think now it's almost used as a reason to not try as hard. If we stop doing that, just really like work for it and not use white privilege as an excuse, then we could really get somewhere as in the black community.
I would respectfully disagree. Like, all of that is true to an extent. Like, I graduated university during the pandemic, the height of it. I went abroad for university. I got 2 degrees. I graduated with honors. Learned to speak 2 languages. I should have been able to get a job right away, right? No. It took me 9 months before I was able to get a job. Had to go completely outside of my field. But then when I looked at all of my white colleagues who were in my program, all of them were hired immediately.
I need to introduce you to my daughter. She's white. Took her a long time.
And I'm not saying that.
If white privilege exists, why bad thing happen? It's like that's not what that means. White privilege doesn't mean only good thing happens. It just means bad thing could have been worse. That's what it means. That's what it means.
I'm saying
and
just
she didn't get her job in what her degree is in either.
I respect that, but
Jimmy, my boy, if your daughter was black, it could have been worse. Is what she's saying. That's what she's saying.
But my point is saying, me comparing myself to the white students who were directly in my position, they're successful, I'm not.
This country was founded upon white people coming and then putting in act Jim Crow and other laws saying that if you are not white, you are genetically inferior. You are not even a person. And some of those laws are still, and those systems are still in place today. 2 things can be true. You can have had a very hard time. Privilege is not just limited to white people, but to say white privilege doesn't exist from a historical context, to me, is respectfully absurd.
Something that I learned about
Respectfully
recently
absurd.
is the privilege that exists in the medical field, specifically relating to the birthing process.
That's something that does not get talked about a lot.
There was a study that's recently or was debunked that said that black people have a higher tolerance for pain, which then has been falsely used by people who help support births in being hesitant to provide the epidurals for black women giving birth. A lot of women die in childbirth. I don't know the exact statistics. So
3 times more likely black women are to die.
Thank you.
Yep.
The fact that I will be taken seriously
more seriously than a black woman in my place if I should be giving birth at some point. I see that as just an absolute privilege. My name is Bryn, and I just graduated, and I'm currently gaining hours to becoming a licensed therapist. As a therapist in school, we were taught to approach things with what's called cultural humility. Cultural humility is being curious, and instead of trying to have all the answers, working collaboratively with the client to kind of understand where they're coming from.
I have been fetishized for my race.
Oh, I'd be running up to that store because, oh man, that was almost a year ago actually, but it's still burned into my fucking head. I went on a date with this one girl, like I don't even remember when, like September. So yeah, almost a year ago, and it was like off a dating app, and she was like, "Yeah, I saw that you were Hispanic in your bio, and I thought that was so interesting." I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Did you only swipe right on me because I'm Hispanic? Fuck off! Ew! Get away from me!" Like it was already a weird situation before that, but that one is just like was like the nail in the coffin, or one of the nails in the coffins. I was just like, oh, it was weird. Oh, it was very weird. But I've had like experiences like that, a lot less blatant, but like throughout, like growing up, like I've had girlfriends just really just like bring up like Hispanic stereotypes, and some less of like, it was like more they actually believed it, you know, less like, oh, it's just kind of a joke and flirting, and more of like, they kind of believed it, which, you know, fine by me. Those are good stereotypes. But it was just like, looking back on it, it's like kind of weird. I didn't see it wrong then, but like sometimes I can see it as just a little off. It was odd. Sometimes it still makes my skin just like crawl a little bit. Sometimes it helped me out because sometimes they're just like, I love it when you speak Spanish. It's sexy. And I was like, hell yeah. I'm going to get better at speaking Spanish. Como se llama? It was, I was fucking dumb as shit when I was 17. I'm dumb as shit now, to be fair.
You know, the standard one. Oh, you're pretty for a black girl. I'm like, that's not a compliment. That's so
You're tall for a Mexican. Hell yeah.
weird to say. And like one of the go-to pickup lines for men, they're like, oh my God, what are you? I'm like, this is not cute. I'm tired of having this conversation. This is lame. Yes, I know I have green eyes, hazel eyes. Like,
God damn, that'd be sick. I wish my eyes were a lot more recessive than what they are. I have hazel, you know. I have like a hazel gray mix, which is sick. I love it. They're a mix of my dad and my grandma's eye colors. But if I had green or blue eyes, I'd be killing it. I'd be set in life. I'd look at people and they'd be like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is that guy?" It confused people more. It'd be funny. It'd be fun as shit. The whole "what are you" line, I get that all the time. So good. They're like, "Oh man, what part of Syria are you from? Hey, are you Armenian? Because you look like Serge Tankian."
let's move on.
I think black women in particular are just extremely sexualized and fetishized. Every day I go out, I'm making sure that my outfit is, you know, okay, because I don't want to draw certain attention.
So like, what are you? Guys, yeah, like what happened to "hey, what's up"? Exactly. I don't get the pickup line thing. I don't understand that. I always like just the "hey, hello, hi." Maybe I'm a good little boy, but whenever I get interested in someone, I'm never like, "Hey, baby, what's good?" It's always just like, "Hey, what's up? I'm trash. You are?" And they're like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, it's more or less how everything's happened. Except for this one. I did date this one girl who literally right out the gate asked me if I was mixed and with what. To be fair, she was also mixed. And that was a fun relationship. But it was just like, just right out the fucking gate. Just like, what are you mixed with? I know you are. And I was like, I am Hispanic and white. Hey, me too. And I was like, fuck, this is a high energy conversation. What the fuck? Pickup lines can be good if they're funny. I mean, I imagine they can be. I just never understood the whole thing of like why you're not allowed to just say hello anymore. Some people just don't like it and they're like only like pickup lines. Some people like only just obnoxious flirting. I don't know. I'm just a good little boy who's just like, hey, hi, hello, what's up? And that's basically how it goes because I stutter and have social anxiety. So I just say hello and then freeze up.
The way I wear my hair, if it's in an afro, if it's in puffs, if it's in braids, I'm going to get treated differently. Yeah, every single day something happens.
So there's a form of positive anti-Semitism where Jews are perceived as like being put together, coming from money, being doctors, lawyers, and women are attracted to those sort of things. And then also too, like all Jewish men are circumcised. Some women have that preference. So I've definitely experienced it, but I feel like it's a sort of subtle, trivial thing. Like it never really bothered me, but it's occurred nonetheless.
Yeah, I've had experiences in high school, college. People ask me to stop me, mainly women. Like, oh, are you Egyptian? Or are you black in this or black in that? There's always something. There's always black in something else.
Yeah.
And I let them know what I am, and they're like, oh, that's exotic or something crazy.
That's exotic.
My name is Dino, and I am biracial. I don't want people to think that I'm like split between being black or white. I acknowledge that I'm mixed and I'm biracial, but for the most part, growing up, I was always considered black. I consider myself black. My family did.
Can I just say, this man is chatted up. He literally looks like the Mega Chad meme. Or the Giga Chad. Like, just the beard work. The eyebrows. I am envious. Very envious.
As well, so I don't think we should live in a colorblind society, but I also don't think we should stay stuck and feel like we can't move forward and still thrive and accomplish things because of our skin color and where we live in America.
Ad incoming. There it is. Can't have shit. Thought I got rid of the ads. I did not. By asking you to play a hangman, that's cute. That is cute. I like that. Fuck.
Just have a question for everyone who stepped forward. I'm just curious how that's like. What's it like?
Exhausting.
What's it like?
Sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I think black.
Sometimes it can be fun. To be fair, sometimes it can be fun. Not always. Sometimes it's annoying. But also sometimes it can be fun. I think I have more fun with it than I, in theory, realistically should.
Black women historically have a really interesting relationship with desirability. Culturally, it seems as we're not desired. And then when we are, we're being fetishized. So it's like, okay, we're usually not desired, but now we are. Am I supposed to lean into this fetishization?
I think just being a woman, we deal with certain things every day. Specifically being a black woman, being fetishized, it's interesting because if I, especially in my industry, because I'm there to work and be professional, I'm just super professional and I don't give any attention to that at all, that kind of energy, then I'm an angry black woman. So I think that it's just really...
you can't win.
It does feel like that, so yeah, that you can't win sometimes.
Yeah, and there's also a flip side to it. It's like, for me specifically, I'm light-skinned amongst majority dark-skinned people, and people will deem me or deem other light-skinned people as a certain way, as either weaker or less than, or just like, okay, you're lighter than, so we're going to be so pro-black that we're not going to consider you as one of us,
Yeah, that's true. All right, to be fair, I know the light skin versus dark skin memes, and I lose my shit with it because that was just growing up. I had this one friend, He grew up in the suburbs in Atlanta. When he moved here, we went to a pretty ghetto school together, and people just ragged on him, and it was so funny. It's like they just went, "You're a light skin." He said, "Boy, I'm darker than you." He said, "You're a light skin on the inside." I lost my shit. I know I probably shouldn't have, but oh my god, that still gets me to this day. But no, I do get it. I do get it because I am, I am fair complected. This light makes me look whiter than I really am. That I can't exactly show you, but I'm fairly brown. I got some melanin in me, not as much as some people, and definitely not as much as some members of my family. But I'm fairly pale complected. I'm pale of face compared to a lot of people. Darker than my natural is pretty dark, but hey, still it could be darker. To whereas like I get the whole thing of like you're not real. Like you could you're more passing than me. I've had people say I could pass, and that gets shut down very quickly. But I've always get the thing of like you could pass better than I could, which is like I guess that is just true.
You're just other.
Well, that like touches just on
Other.
beauty
That's
standards
for fucking
in the
true.
Black community, and that's colorism. Like I've even been told, "You're beautiful. You're not black." It's just like these little things.
Yeah. Okay, that's also true. My own standards is like I would enjoy to be darker because I'm out of that whole like I'd wish I was paler type of shit. But like there has been moments in my life where I was like I wish I was like paler. It'd be cooler. I'd be white. Like it'd be so dope and epic for like whatever fucking reason there was. But now I'm finally I wish I had more tan on me. But I still get that thing of like I like your skin color. I like pale Hispanics and stuff like that. To where it's just like it's very true within Hispanic communities. Like just communities of color in general, we get that shit all the time. Just like to be lighter would be better, and I disagree. I very much disagree.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
My name's Christina, and I'm biracial. I have been fetishized for the color of my skin on both sides.
Hey,
black
thanks,
men will
V-Teddy.
be really into me because I'm
Really
light-skinned,
appreciate that.
Or other men who are not black might be into me because I am that black girl, but maybe I'm not too black, and that, for whatever reason, is appealing. Being deemed as exotic or something other is just very problematic, and that plays into a lot of issues of colorism within the black community at large.
We need reparations for the black community.
Oh, cop guy's not moving on this one. I know he's not.
I don't think people need like individualized like paychecks. Like I don't think that's gonna like work. But I think pouring funds into communities who could really use it, building jobs there, more education there, like more opportunities would do so much. Like that's how I see it should be.
Hell yeah. That's correct. Whenever people say reparations, I know some people just get the idea. There are most people who don't know what reparations are. Just get the idea of like we're just cutting a blank check to like every individual black person. When no, that's not what reparations are or meant to be. What they are is to pour money into these communities who are just downtrodden and to give them a better opportunity. Like, better infrastructure, maybe more industry, open up banks there, get rid of like these basically just money deserts. That way crime eventually comes to an end, because crime only really happens in when there's, I forget how the saying goes, but crime would basically stop because there'd be a lot less desperate people. Not stop, but it'd slow down significantly. So, yeah, there's that's basically what reparations mean, not the blank check. I don't know why people always get that shit. Well, I get it, because they're dumb. Some people also who are pro reparations think they should just get the blank check, and I was like, you're so fucking stupid.
Time that black communities in the U.S. tried to, pull themselves up by the bootstraps, they were attacked. Like, I think it was in Tulsa, they bombed the city. Black Wall Street, it was completely destroyed. So again, something needs to be done.
When the Civil War ended, there was a representative from Ohio, I can't remember his name, but he was a radical Republican and advocated for the phrase 40 acres and a mule for every emancipated slave. So there was supposed to be...
That is true. There was going to be reparations. There was farmland given to a lot of freed slaves within a lot of the southern states, mainly in South Carolina. But then that land got taken away because Lincoln was dead and couldn't stop him. Almost had reparations. Almost.
Reparations. And there never was. And I think especially as a Jewish person, I mean, Jews received reparations for the Holocaust and are still receiving them. And in my mind, there's no amount of money that will ever undo the wrong of the Holocaust. So that all the money in the world will never make it right. But I think the idea and principle of reparations is good. Logistically, I don't know how it would happen.
I just wanted to say the reason I stayed back was because I wasn't entirely sure what was meant by reparations.
See?
But your example of the Holocaust, I would say that I agree.
Similar reason, when I think of reparations, I think of something similar to a stimulus check. My worry is, with the lack of financial literacy, will we actually make strides?
That's the point. We're not talking about a blank check. I'm pro reparations. I've been in a lot of discussions about this. Reparations just doesn't mean putting money in people's bank accounts. It means putting money into these communities who just very, more than likely tend to be black for several numbers of reasons. Give them money. That way they could eventually escape poverty. If we can get rid of poverty, there would be no poverty. Simple line. Very simple.
So I would love the idea of investing money into programs in underserved communities, something like that. But I do have a fear that even if we did have the money, without that generational knowledge of how to take care of our finances, that it would just deplete and defeat the purpose.
I mean, that could be a part of the program. That could be part of the program.
But even if that were to happen, though, I still think that would still be the right step. We'll give these people the funds or whatever. We'll give them our promise.
Yeah, she's also just out here just saying, no, we shouldn't do that because some people may squander it. It's like, well, what about the rest? It could help them greatly.
And if they float or sink or whatever, that's on them. At least, we as a country took the right step.
I'm all for money going to the community. I am for that because the communities right now are the way they are because of things of the past. But to give out checks to individual people, there's a difference between learning from the past and then still getting caught up in the past. I mean, if I had a time machine, I could go back in time and be like, hey, you never gave us the 40 acres and a mule. I would be all for that, and I would get on that for the people who were affected and actually went through slavery. But in today's age, no one's experienced it and gone through it. Yes, the communities are taking hit by that, but so I mean, I've never.
You don't think your ancestors experienced slavery?
I think they do, but I haven't. I've never been in it, so why should I get a check from somebody else who never put it? You should be going.
You may not have experienced it, but there's been a lot of things, just momentum-wise, that have just disaffected these poor, majority black communities throughout your life. And I don't like the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps vibe that I'm getting from this guy. I'm just going to say it.
Way back.
So what about the people who are the descendants of the slave owners who are still reaping the financial benefits of your ancestors who slaved in those fields for literally generation after generation? You don't think that during that time, your great-grandfather could have been building a business that could be flourishing by now? And you would have a multi-million-dollar franchise as they do off the backs of others? You don't think that deserves some rectification for you in the present time?
To be honest, no, because it's something that happened in the past. Again, I haven't experienced it. I'm doing fine right now. I'm doing fine, and I'm not going to be all upset over.
Because I'm doing fine, we shouldn't make the lives of others better. What?
For somebody else's ancestors who I don't even know who enslaved my ancestors. I don't need it. I have no reason to have it.
So for me personally, I'm not upset about it, but I do feel my grandfather, on his side, they were the first family in the state of Texas to actually file for reparations. And for me, I'm succeeding in spite of that. But to this gentleman's point, when the government says, hey, we're gonna do a thing, obviously the government in itself saw the weight and the air of the wrong, just as the German government did. I think if I want to buy 90 gold chains, that's my business. I think it would be unfortunate, but I think that if I'm entitled to something, I think it should be in the same fashion that the people of Jewish descent got it. I think it should be in the same fashion that the people that are Japanese descent got it. So you might think it doesn't affect you, but overall, I think that we have been greatly impacted.
Yeah, I also don't like this man. It's just like, it was in the past. It doesn't affect me. Bro, literally every event in the past has affected you. Butterfly effect.
By slavery, even up to current. I just choose not to focus on it nonstop so it doesn't become something that holds me back. But I definitely think it's something that we're entitled to.
Great, guys.
We clapping.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your passion.
What the fuck is going on over here? I don't want to know. I do not want to know. Okay, that was interesting. Honestly, I expected things to get a little bit more heated. I think the only really detractor there was just Jimmy, Cop Jimmy. But even then, it was lukewarm at best. Still an interesting video. I related a lot to a lot of things that were said, which was the goal. Fucking loved seeing just Dino just giga chatted it up. Gave me and like I was envious of like my facial hair. I got the backwards cap on pop punk today, even though yeah. But good video. Jubilee it's not great. It's like watching TLC. It's kind of trash TV.